Hello everyone, welcome back. This is the new video where we'll discuss about getter and setter properties in the classes. Okay, so we'll look at how to use the properties. We'll see why to use getter and setter in our classes, and we'll look at how to declare and use them. Right. So we'll start with the getter and setter definitions. Getter function inside a class will always be used to fetch the value of a variable. Okay. Suppose there is a variable that is declared inside the class. We want to fetch its value, then we'll use the getter function. Okay. Setter function on the other hand will be used to set the value of a variable. If we have a variable declared already inside the class, then we can set its value using the setter variable. So we were doing the get and set using accessing the elements right away using self, right? Till now we were using self or using it outside the class using dot operator. We were accessing the elements to get and set its value. So why to use getter and setter? In Python, we don't have anything like the access specifiers that we have in C++, Java or other object-oriented programming languages. In Python, we cannot specify if a variable is private or public in a class. Okay, the variable can be accessed by any function. If we want to make a variable such that it can only be accessed using specific functions to get the value and to set the value, okay, then we'll use getter and setter. If we want to apply any logic behind getting and setting the value, for example, if we whenever want to uh, set the value of a variable, we say that we'll update the status flag. Okay, you know about the status flag. If we whenever we want to update or get the value of a variable, we want to update the status flag, then we can use getter and setter functions. Okay, so there will be two ways to use getter and setter. The first one would be creating the normal functions like any other function called as get or set or any other name that you want. The other method would be property. Okay, the other method would be using property. We'll look at both of them one by one. This will be the first video on this topic. In the next video, we'll look at how to use this property as decorators that we studied in the last video, right? So starting with getter and setter as normal functions. Okay, so we'll say that we have to define get function and set function for a variable. So first of all, we'll have to get some variable. Okay, so I'll say that the first variable I will create a age variable. Okay, I don't have to create an age variable. I will just write the code using private variable age using underscore operation. Okay, in the init function I'll say self dot underscore age. This underscore age is a private variable, right? So every private variable that belongs to the class itself begins with the underscore as a standard notation. Okay, so I'll say that this age becomes age. This age will be supplied by the user, that is here. So I'm taking some age from the user and storing it in a private variable called as age. I will define a variable, a function. I don't require call here, so I'll say goodbye to it. Here I will require a function called as get. So I'll say get age as the function name. I'll require a self, and because this is a getter function, I don't require anything else, right? So I'll say yeah, get age, and what I have to done, I have to return the age. So I'll say return the age value. How are we going to access it? Using self dot underscore age, because it is a private variable belonging to the class. Okay, we'll say we have a get function ready for us. Now we'll define a set function. Def set age. Let's say you can change the name of the functions. It's not mandatory. However, I am using the normal convention to get and set. Okay. If we are setting a value, we'll require a value from the user that we will update the original variable with. So I'll say a will be the value that is supplied. You can alter the arguments as well. And I'll say self.age, that is our variable that starts with an underscore, will be updated with the new value a, right? So this is a get function and we have a set function. How to use them in our program? We first will like to create an object for this. So I will remove everything. I will create an object to this class. This class is called my class. I will say obj my class. Okay, so I don't have to supply here anything, or I will say, yeah, because it is an init function and it requires age, I will mark it as a default value. I don't want to supply anything from the object itself because I will supply all the values from get and set. So I want to make this age that I require as a default function, default argument, which takes the value 0. It makes the change here equal to 0 will make me omit the value to be supplied in the class, right? So that's why I updated that. Nextly, I want to set the age, so I'll say obj.setAge. That's the function, and I want to set the age to 10, right? I want to set the age to 10, and next I want to require what I have set, right? obj.getAge. As simple as that. If I say getAge, then I'll see that I should get the value, but as it is returning the age, I want to print this value because else I won't be able to see what is going on, right? So I will print this value. As soon as I do this, what will happen? I will get the age, but what if I say that I haven't declared this underscore age? It is a private variable, so I can access it using the object as well. So I'll say I will access this variable also, obj._age, and see if both the statements are same. So I'll also issue this in a print statement. I will expect the same values for both these print statements here, right? So I'll say that, yeah, let's run it. 10 and 10. Yeah, I'm expecting the same value and I'm getting the same value. So what I have done is I've created two different functions for get and set. Get function is returning the age and set function is setting the age. I am not accessing the age variable from outside apart from this statement for verification. I am using get and set to access this value, right? But as you can see, it is not adding any specific functionality, as I told you, that can be used while getting and setting a value, right? So in general, we don't use these kinds of user defined functions to get and set. We use a function called as property. Okay, there's a function called as property like this. It has 4 arguments. What are those 4 arguments? The first one is fget, then fset, then fdel, and then doc, fdoc, right? These are the 4 arguments. What does these do? Let's see. So fget is basically the getter function, while fset is the setter function. Fdel is the deletion function which will delete the value of the variable, and fdoc is about documenting the string. Okay, yeah. So this property function returns an object. It returns an object. And what about this object? What is this object? This object has 3 functions itself. So there is a property function which has 4 arguments. It returns an object which has 3 functions. What are those 3 functions? These 3 functions are get, set, and del, right? So these are the required properties that we are going to use to get and set. Okay, we are going to use this in our program. Pause this video and take a screenshot or write it down, because I will have to or I'll just comment it down. I've commented it. So I'll use this property function in our program right now. Okay, I don't want this get and set here, so I'll say remove it. What I will do is, now I will require to create the property function. Okay, so property function will be created using the same methodology that we created above. So using get age and set age, we will not require to use these functions directly, but we'll use the property function. As the property function has 3 different arguments, we'll have to create another function, del age, which will delete the value, right? So it doesn't require any other thing. It will just go and I have told you how to delete the properties in the previous videos using del, right? Del underscore age. So that's our name. It should be accessed with using self dot underscore age. That is how we'll access. Now that we have created get, set, and del, we have to create a function called as property. So as property is returning an object, I'll say age is the name of object that is returning. I'll write property. This property is predefined. Okay, it's a built-in keyword. Now the first argument was getter function. Our getter function named is getAge. So I'll supply it getAge. Just the name, nothing else. The next is setAge. The next is delete. So I'll say delAge. The fourth argument is optional, so I'm leaving it right now. It doesn't make any sense to include a document string. So I'll say that yeah, age is now declared and it is a property object with getAge, setAge, and delAge. Now how to access this age? This age will be accessed in a much different way than before, right? So as I have created the object here, what I'll say, if I try to access this age using object, what will happen? Object.age. If I try to update it, equals 20. Okay, I am updating this. Nextly, what I am doing, I am fetching the value. So obj.age. I'm fetching the value, issuing this inside a print statement. So I'm fetching the value directly using the object, and nextly I want to execute this program and see what happens, if it is giving me 20 or not, right? So I'll execute it. It's giving me 20. So what have I done? I never declared age as a variable. I declared as an object of property, right? With getAge, setAge, and delAge. If I am accessing this age and giving an integer value to it, it's still accepting it with on the fact that age itself is not a variable, it's a property object. And if I'm accessing the value, I'm getting it back, right? So it is how it's working. Now the main use of getter and setter to extend the functionality while getting and setting. If we want to say that while getting the value, I want to print that yeah, giving the value, if I want to say giving the value, it will give me, okay. While setting, I want to say yeah, successfully updated. Yeah, okay. Whenever I set the value, I'll say successfully updated. Whenever I'm getting the value, I'm saying giving the value, right? So it's extending some features of get and set. Now if I want to access the variable, update its value, I will not require to create a function to extend the functionality of saying that yeah, I'm successfully updating or giving the value. If I'm accessing the variable right here, I will use the variables using the object, and this statement get set using the property function will automatically extend the functionality like this. Let's try to run it and see. Okay, so as we have supplied here, so I have said successfully updated using 20, now giving the value as 20, right? So this is how you can implement getter and setter. You have seen how to use the normal functions. They don't supply you with any other functionalities, and you have to use the getter and setter functions itself while accessing the variables. In the next section, we have seen how to use property function, which supplies an object back, and it can be used directly with the object without using the functions. Okay, and it is also incrementing the functionalities. Okay, you can use it in your own function or program to increase the functionality to a better level also. That is it for this video. In the next video, we'll see how to use getter and setter properties as decorators, right? Thank you.